Welcome to Disrupted Science, the occasional conversation between the authors of the upcoming book, How the Internet Disrupted Science, now available for pre-order. Please do, if you haven't already. I'm Joy Moore, here with my co-author, Kent Anderson, and today is Thursday, June 18th, 2026. Hey, Kent.
Hey, Joy. How are you?
I'm well.
Good. How's it going?
How's it going is there's a lot of mosquitoes, but
Oh,
I'm not here to complain, but I do live in the swamp.
mm-hmm.
And so I like to go
You live in the
outside
reflecting pool?
pretty much, right? Like DC and the greater Williamsburg, Yorktown, Jamestown area are pretty much the same
Yeah,
ecology
yeah.
that people were not supposed to live in. And you know what? Good for the algae. They're like, you know what?
Hey, yeah. Good place. That looks like a nice place to live. They moved
Yeah,
right on in.
it's
But if
called it's
anybody
called
knows DC, it's like you don't open up a big water feature in the middle of summer.
no.
That's
Yeah.
like asking for trouble. But anyhow, these people aren't locals.
Well, and even like in my like hyper local situation is, we have a pool in our neighborhood that we've been members of forever. And this year I was like, it's too hot. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to go there.
Right, right. Yeah. Yep.
So,
Too much summer, but we've been busy. We've got a great team helping us promote our book. We've got a lot of stuff coming up,
yeah, it's
and they are keeping
exciting.
us busy. I know it's a lot of people I want to talk to, and a lot of
Hmm.
things are developing in the right way, and it's exciting. But we've been keeping track of what's going on.
We have. I
Yeah,
mean, you've been posting about some hot topics, but there are some other hot topics that have been going on that we are aware of, we
yep.
care about, we think about, but we are not going to talk about them in detail today.
And actually, I want to say this because I believe in being a little bit clear that editorial selection is part of the value of what we bring.
Yeah.
So we were going to do a podcast on the OMB
Hmm.
proposal or scheme that they have to put political control over science funding, and we actually did a fairly detailed workup of what the outline for that podcast would be and all of that. But at the end of the day, we decided to shut it down because we thought there are people much more qualified than us doing this, and we don't need to add to the noise. We don't really have a differentiated point of view. We're just there here for the party,
That's right.
here for the rebellion. So
Hmm.
so that's this is part of editorials. A lot of I've even said this in posts on the geysers. Like there's nothing today because that's part of the value. You pay me to not do things every day sometimes. So
Yeah.
there's nothing to do.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But I guess I could just editorially say the
Yes.
OMB is yeah, Project 2025 coming through. It
Yep.
it like it wasn't a secret, and so now the rubber's hitting the road, and a lot of people are doing a lot of really good work to try to reverse it, and we'll be watching and
Can we
supporting
rename
and
OMB to Office of My Head Up My Butt? Russell
oh, my
Vaught's new.
butthole.
That's right. Russell Vaught's got his head up his butt. That
Yeah.
guy's just pure administrative evil.
Well, no, he is part of the plan. He's
But
part
it's
of
his plan.
he's executing on his own plan. So therefore, he's
He's
Dr.
administrative.
Evil.
Yeah, I know. That's right. I'm going to save $1 million. Good job. And while we all get Ebola.
Another big well, two coming out of Germany. Go Germany. There's been a lot
Yeah.
of yeah, the German courts are hot in our
Yeah. We might
space.
start rooting for them for the World Cup just because of this.
That's true. Yeah. So there was the big one last week where they ruled against Google, saying that that crap that Gemini spews out is actually Google's own words as opposed to the links that they provide in search results to other people's words. And
Right.
so that's really interesting because that challenges Section 230.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't challenge Section
No, it
230,
just says that
but they
this
just
may
said
step over the out of it.
you've added your own stuff to
Yeah.
other people's stuff, and
And this is
and
outside that
and this is
protection.
outside of that protection. And so the case came about because people were via the AI generated summaries were in Germany were referred to fraudulent
Right. It was
businesses
two
or things like
publishers
that.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So,
they were defamed, and
yep.
they said that's not, you can't defame us and then hide.
Yeah, you can't like have a robot make up stuff about us and then say, not my fault.
Right.
Um, and then the other one that came out a couple days ago was around the open access mandate.
Mm-hmm.
And there was Roy Kaufman did a write up in Scholarly Kitchen, and that was helpful. But I went and read the source court documents, and it's kind of a like I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but it's a lot of inverse language about cause and effect and accountability and not accountability. But
Right.
basically, what I took away from it is that the court ruled that making your papers free because taxpayers paid for it could be interpreted as restricting academic freedom and
Mm-hmm.
depriving authors of copyright,
Mm-hmm.
which is really fascinating because, again, it's another thing that's kind of flipped the ideological open access, make it free to everybody for the greater good.
Right.
Now it's kind of coming back to say, like, maybe not so much. So,
Well, I mean, we talk about it in our book, the idea, and it's coming from the far right in the U.S., that if the government funds, and the far left, actually, but if the
yeah,
government funds you, the
it's the
government owns
horseshoe,
you,
and we
right?
live in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like it's the extremes, right? So, but if the
Yeah.
government funds you or your employer pays you, they own you, right?
Hmm.
And then the whole copyright thing is that there's the cyber libertarian belief that copyright is bad and that they want to attack it and get rid of it. And but that's actually a natural right protected in the Constitution. And so if they were really about democratizing, they'd be supporting it. But
Hmm.
they want this, so there's a book about this, people. You should buy it. But this is definitely, hitting on a theme from a couple of angles in the book, one of the themes. And it's really interesting to see this court ruling kind of lining up with some of the ways we would have described the problem as, infringing on your rights by demanding that if you accept money that you have to do these things their
Hmm.
way. It's their way or the highway, and it's a power play. So,
Yeah, and what's interesting about both of these court rulings is they're kind of because this is the nature of court cases, they are looking at the legality of a claim of one party versus the other in a very specific, narrow lens,
right.
and making a judgment. But these types of cases start to chip away at the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, they touch
so
on broader principles.
yeah.
Yeah. And then those
And
principles get pointed at in other decisions
and then
saying,
they're citable, and
yeah,
therefore on we go.
yeah,
So
yeah. So those were really interesting. So now I'm
mhm.
going to be rooting a little bit more for the German World Cup team.
Yeah, I haven't
I'm
been
excited
following.
by Scotland. I'll just tell you.
Oh yeah,
They're in
not.
Boston,
Oh, are you gonna go
drinking
see
all our
him?
beer.
Oh, really?
No,
All
seriously, they ran out.
they ran out of beer in Boston because the Scots were
Sam
there.
Adams ran out of lager. Yeah, and one of the stories is, I mean,
Even
they're
the summer brew. Yeah.
the Scottish tourists are, I mean, they're doing, bagpipe
Wow.
tattoos through town, and they're putting,
Nice.
traffic cones on everybody's head and traffic cone hats. It's a blast. But the big story was, we're out of beer, people. So, you're going to have to start shipping it down from Canada, I guess. We're going to have Molson for everyone. But the Scottish people are so funny. They're like, yeah, they had beer, but it was Bud Light.
Yeah. Oh, no, 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 no.
That's not sufficient
You
for
know
my
what?
Scottish beer appetite.
No. I mean, Sam Adams should have thought of that. They do have the brewery right there
They do.
on the
Yeah.
wharf. You
Yeah.
know, they could have done a special World Cup batch
I
for
know. And a Scottish
everybody.
ale. They have a
Yeah.
really good Scottish ale in their back
Huh.
pocket. I know it, but they didn't. So shame on you, Sam Adams. And yeah, and then the tall ships 250s coming in too. So
Yeah, they're
now they're a
coming.
bunch of thirsty sailors coming in too.
Yeah,
This
yeah, they're
place is
coming.
going to be like very 18th century pretty soon.
Well, they're coming down here next.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're coming to Norfolk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So,
Well,
yeah,
stock up on
we're gonna
beer,
have them.
Joy.
I will, and I'm gonna sell it in the street.
All right. So we
Okay.
have some of the hot takes about these things in the on the geyser, and we'll be continuing to do that. But buy the book, and you'll see it how this and so many other things knit together because it's still so fascinating how much how how accurate our book is. But anyhow, but one of the things we're going to talk about today is a favorite topic of yours and a chapter that you spearheaded in the book. But it's about the impact factor and trust markers and metrics and scholarly publishing. So without further ado, Joy, let's talk impact factor.
Let's do it. I've never been readier.
All right. So, quantification as a proxy for qualification in scientific and academic publications has been around for a very long time. Do you want to take us through a little bit of the history of that?
Yeah, and I won't, go into all the details because most of the people who are listening probably know, superficially about Eugene Garfield and his work in bibliometrics and creating a way to uh, count citations. But they probably don't know why he did it. And we did go into some detail in the book about that.
Hmm.
And what I found through the research is that it was very interesting. He was looking for a solution to a practical problem. He was interested in indexing. He wanted to understand relationships between publications and the idea of hiring human indexers to evaluate all these papers and create a ranking for them or to say is this important or not was financially implausible.
Hmm.
Instead, he took a step back and said, hey, there are already indexers out there,
Hmm.
and those indexers who are choosing which papers to cite are the researchers themselves.
Right.
And so let me sit back, watch what they're doing,
Hmm.
count it up,
Hmm.
package it up,
Yep.
and sell it back to the people who care. The people
Yeah.
who care are the publishers and editors who create the content and the consumers of the content, the
Yep.
librarians and the subscribers. And voila, you know, the Institute for Scientific Information, which sounds very academic,
Hmm.
was very commercial from day one.
Hmm.
And he did a great job. But he wasn't the first person to do it. And, people have been likened to count citations and words and bibliographies and indexing for a long time. And
Yep.
there was a Bel
Sparrows.
yeah. There was a Belgian lawyer named Paul Marie Helene Utley, who decided that he was a lawyer, but he
Mm.
apparently wasn't really good. And I guess when you're a lawyer, you have to read a lot of citations. And he was like, you know what? I'd rather hang out down here in the citations
Right.
than use them.
Yep.
And so his first published work on this subject was an essay entitled "Something About Bibliography."
He kept the working title.
Yeah. And that
And
was in 1892.
whoa.
So that's I don't know, 150 years
Yeah.
before Garfield. So
Well, no,
anyway,
no, no. 50.
no? Oh, 50. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got the 21st century brain twist going.
You
But
know
that
what?
is the best title ever. I
Yeah.
mean, something about bibliography. I'm going to title a post in the Geyser sometimes like that in honor
Yeah.
of Mr. Audley.
Something about a
Something
thing.
about whatever,
Yeah.
something about noun.
So that's where we, bibliometrics got started. It's like let's look at let's take the use of words and the relationships between people who use words and turn it into math and start to
Hmm.
quantify it.
Yeah,
And then in our space, that turned into scientometrics, which is looking at, you know, the use again, the same thing, but
right,
within science. And these disciplines, these mostly academic disciplines, also turned out to have their own revenue streams
hmm,
especially because of people like Eugene Garfield, who's like,
right.
hey,
Yeah,
there's money in them words turned into
yep.
numbers.
And those point things pointing back and forth.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you said this to me the other day. Um, Nothing has slowed down. There are lots and lots of publications that are it's like the meta of the meta of the meta. But the
Right.
most meta of the meta is the newest Taylor and Francis journal.
Mm,
It's one that they own. It's open access, of course, but it's
right.
called the Journal of Research on Research. And I'm like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good, good for you, good for you guys."
The Journal of Navel Gazers. I love it. But you have to hand it to Garfield. He
Yeah,
named it. I mean, he went full commercial, which I think is a good way to do it because it helps preserve independence. But also, he was a branding genius, right? So the Institute for Scientific Information sounds like okay, that's an institute.
it sounds like an
It's
academic endeavor.
unassailable.
Yeah,
Each word, you're an institute, okay, scientific, okay, information, okay. Put it all together, even better. And then he calls it the impact factor.
it's so great.
Oh my
I keep
gosh,
thinking
what a guy.
uh, like remember Fear Factor? So that's
Hmm.
Joe Rogan. Can you
Yeah.
imagine like impact factors? Yeah.
I'll write it
The
up.
battle of the citations. Who can get the most before you drown in a swamp, you
That's
know?
right. It'd be more like hungry, hungry hippos.
Right.
But the one thing that's interesting is the era it emerged in, right? So it
Hmm.
emerged in an era where the scientific record was fairly well managed.
Yeah.
There were a lot of constraints on publication for a variety of reasons, both economic and intellectual. There was a heightened awareness that government intrusion into science was a bad thing, and that
Hmm.
science needed to make its own way forward, both relative to the news media and to mass media and to the government and meddling funders. But that created a record that the impact factor could thrive in because it was those pointers were pretty few and far between relatively, but they were
Hmm.
also very carefully placed by people who were putting together papers that were very important to their careers and that they had one shot basically,
Yeah.
right? So they it wasn't like they could just toss off papers. They didn't have, search engines to, so they had to seek out citations in the library. They were more carefully selected. And so it really made sense at the time.
Hmm.
And so I think that's an important temporal element that just helps the discussion we're going to have.
I think that's really important. And I like the way that you laid that out, um, because there were, before Eugene came on the scene, there were already thank you, indexing services to, you know, to say this is what has been published, right?
Right.
And librarians would
Index
use
Medicus
that
was
index
around.
medicus, yes,
Yep.
and then in different other specialties,
Right.
and so you could see what was published, and that
Yep.
would help you navigate to the library to pick something off the shelf to read
Mm-hmm.
outside of your normal, subscription reading. And what he did is like connect the dots. It's like, well,
Right.
this one did this one and this did this thing. And so therefore I'm going to build an infrastructure on top of it
Yep.
with my own formula, which is, and I think we're going to get to it, but yes, and it was a closed circuit
Yeah.
because there
And it was
were
a
all
solid foundation
solid
that he was building
foundation.
his scaffolding on.
Yeah, there were only so many researchers or readers of journals who would have access to those journals, mostly
Mm-hmm.
because they had a job and their library paid for it for them, or they had a personal subscription, or they had a society membership
Right.
subscription. And I think it's important to point out in this context, we're talking about researchers more than practitioners.
Mm-hmm.
Practitioners consume
Yep.
more information than they produce.
Right.
So set that aside. But yeah, there are only so many pages that these journals could print in order to stay economically viable. So you had a
Right.
page budget. So an editor's job and an editorial board's job and the reviewer's job was to decide what not to publish in order to keep within that budget.
Right. And even accumulating the citations for a paper usually was a manual process. You would have somebody who, I remember going out and doing field work where you would see researchers, they were working on a study and they would say, these are the papers, and they would, cross them so they would keep track of where each one, these are the studies that I'm going to cite in the paper, or at least are candidates for that. So they'd be collecting them over time. They wouldn't have a search engine or now an AI say, give me all the references that I would need for a paper on this, or, find, or, just throw references together without reading them. It was a careful curation on the researcher side of citations as well.
Yeah, so Garfield's idea of tapping into the human brain power and capturing it and monetizing it was a really smart idea.
Yeah.
And we can juxtapose that with what's going on today and with AI as a cheat sheet and a shortcut. And a lot of people are talking about AI and education, and you're missing these, you're not using your brain muscle and you're not
Right.
learning to critically think. But when he started, this was the most like tactile critical thinking
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
could be done.
So when the constraints on publishing got disrupted by all the different things that we talk about, we know disrupted it, right? So pay to play publishing, quantity over quality, cascading portfolios, pop-up journals, special issues, all of those things, and then AI generated citations as well, and indexing of other things like preprints. Then you have a flood of citations of more dubious quality.
It's the classic platform effect. Once you
Yep.
platform, then you need to scale. Once you scale, you're going to get more and you need
You
more and
can't
more and
manage it.
more. Yeah. And I know that, we should recognize that Clarivate has a master list. They do choose who to index.
Hmm.
But just
But even
saying,
inside of that,
if you're a big publisher, an
hmm
established publisher, and who's known for quality, and you start to extend your portfolio, there's probably a good chance that anything that you do is going to go into the mix.
yep. And the mean citation level across the board is one.
Yeah. So
So,
so explain what that means.
well, so in my mind, and maybe I'm mathematically dysfunctional, but in my mind, what seems to be happening is that if you have a portfolio that is a little bit friendly with itself, but
Mm-hmm.
not so much that it's going to flag anything at Clarivate, you can nudge that number up to a mean of 1.2, 1.3, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can just have, and we've heard anecdotally of publishers and editors who will say, yeah, this is a great paper, but can you just put in two more references to a
Yeah.
journal, to this, our journal, this
Yeah.
paper from our journals, or these papers from our journals. And so you just do that a little bit, just a little bit of citation fairy dust. And all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden you're above the mean. And then you start to get what we've been hearing, which are lists of top journals in fields that don't make sense to anybody anymore. They don't reflect the actual market because they've been sprinkled with that, citation dust.
Mm-hmm.
And they jump up the rankings in a way that doesn't make sense to people in the field.
Yeah, it's changed so dramatically in the last 10 years.
Hmm.
I've been to, I can't even count how many editorial board meetings, for especially for society journals. It's like, how do we get our impact factor up? We'll publish
Right.
one more review article you know, and some people, editors have been caught out, saying you need to, could you please cite this, like you said, to
Right.
just give us a little boost. But that was so much more innocent
Hmm.
than it is today. And those
And we don't
editors,
know how programmatic it is today either. Like
yeah,
actually processing references into papers or AI, papers. So
we know that it is programmatic. We don't
yeah,
know exactly how it's done and to what
right.
extent, but that is obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. So one other thing I wanted to just talk about to get out of the way, and because we have our own list of things on our mind, but there's a lot of griping about the impact factor in academia, and it's legitimate in a way. It is supposed to be a measure of the centrality of a journal in a field, kind of, how big a water cooler is this for researchers in that field? What are they
Hmm.
talking about, and how big a water cooler is it? Where's the party in this field, basically? And that's fine. It works like that, but it's been, misappropriated by tenure committees and individual authors and institutions and others to be a sign of prestige or quality or any things like that. We agree that's a misappropriation, I think.
Hmm.
We think you guys should stop it. We think you should talk to journal publishers who are smart enough to know that that's not what it is and listen to us, please. Which is another thing that we keep running into is that everybody thinks they're smarter than people who do these jobs, but
Hmm.
and don't want to talk. Just email us. We'll explain it to you. But so we agree you should stop doing that. But the problem is really more that we want to talk about in the scientometrics aspect is that Clarivate looks like they're kind of ignoring the erosion of their own product.
Yeah, and that's what really jumped out at me when the press release came out the
Hmm.
other day. I was like, great, I'm so interested in this. I want to know, like, how are they tackling all the things that are going on in scientific publishing today,
Right.
and how does that factor into this release? And to be sure, this is it's a product release,
Hmm.
right? This is the 2026 version of this product that's up for renewals. This is all about money.
Hmm.
At the end of the day,
Hmm.
they're privately held, right?
Yeah, they're privately held.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're for a privately held company.
Yeah. No, 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 they're public. They actually, no, they went public.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was, yeah,
There's been so
they've
many
got so much,
back and forth.
there's so much
I
financial
can't keep up.
shenanigans with them.
But when I
It's all good.
yeah, so when it came out the other day, I was like, okay, great. What are they talking about? Like, how are they dealing with what the rest of the industry is trying to deal with? At least the ones on the good side are
Right.
hand wringing about, bad stuff, and the bad guys are
Yeah.
making more money. And so
Twirling their mustaches.
right. Um, but if you look at their press release and their marketing site promoting the new JCR, they talk about it's just the it just made my heart sing. It's just the buzzword salad of doom. Uh, transparency. We're transparent. Yeah, if you buy our database, you can go in there and look up the numbers yourselves, right? Publisher neutral. I don't even, what is, why is that a selling point?
They don't.
Because they're an outside, like,
It's fads. It's
I,
buzzword salad.
I think they just made that
Yeah.
up.
It's just
And then,
croutons. Just croutons. Don't be distracted by the croutons.
okay, all right, good. But then they did we're in our sixth decade of trust. So keep trusting us. Like, I don't know. I think the
Have I
last
ever
12
let you
months.
down? Yeah, actually, yeah. But you're asserting trust, but we've got a different opinion. I mean, that's the funny thing is that they, I never trust anyone who, A, never go to a second location with a hippie, and B, never trust anyone who says, trust me,
Trust
right?
me. Yeah.
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 And
And then
what
of
else?
course the other thing, and they've been promoting this for years in response to the naysayers. It's like we made this brand, we created this number, but use it responsibly at your own risk. Please don't. What?
Misuse it.
Like,
Yeah.
why?
Well,
Why
yeah.
would they care? They're getting paid no matter what.
Right. Well, yeah, it's like the drink responsibly thing, right? It's like, and I think maybe Clarivate's running out of beer
Yeah.
because, as we talked about earlier, because but their selling now includes fake citations, fake papers, real citations to fake papers, real papers. These is what you put together, and I love this list, so I'm grabbing it from you. So fake citations, fake papers, real citations to fake papers, real papers citing fake papers, paid for authorships, author appropriations, journals that are now pushing OA in order to make themselves easier to be cited by people using search engines and stacking their citation list with freebies so they look like they have more. And AI grabbing those same things to drive citations because AI doesn't like paywalls because AI hypesters are cheapskates. So
Yep.
is that a
There's
fair assessment of your wonderful list?
Yep, that's a rundown. And there are more. And to be sure, we should not anthropomorphize AI.
Nope.
Bad people using robots are
Yes.
are creating papers and citations out of the free stuff more than they are out of the not free stuff.
Yeah, I'll even go further. Bad people using software.
Correct. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Strip it down because there was an
Yeah.
article that a friend sent to me from Nautilus where the person was talking about, the intelligence and, the constraints on the intelligence of these machines and all that. And I said, if you took the word intelligence out and put the word utility in, it
Hmm.
would all make sense and also not be creepy.
Right.
If you want to talk about the utility of these machines,
Mhm.
that's a different thing. If you want to talk about artificial utility or just utility, but again, casting it as intelligence when we can't. I mean, it's just what's so funny is it's so stupid to do that.
Yeah.
The
But
irony is
yet,
so deep.
but, but, and what cracks me up is that rather than saying this is stupid, more resources are going into, well, how can we count citations that come through AI?
Yeah,
It's just
right,
like, well, and who do we give credit to?
right. Yeah, it's back to the Journal of Navel Gazing. So, to Clarivate's credit, they publicize their work around retractions and they do delist and de-index bad journals.
Hmm.
But, again, those citations and have all occurred and everything's, it's a moving thing. And the other thing that you and I talked about, which I think is really, I wanted the publishers to think about, is this is a lagging indicator.
Yeah,
Right. This is so 2 years ago. And
that's the point.
everybody's treating it like it's today. Like this is the current or well, I mean, I'm trying to think of the whole lagging thing as 2 or 3 years, but at the end of the
It's
day. But
it's 2 years over 3 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's just weird that we accept that.
Well,
I mean, I know
so
it takes a while for citations to accumulate, but it indicates to me a fundamental weakness in this era of rapid data processing that of the product just conceptually. Like it made sense again when it was founded and you had a relatively
yeah.
that was pretty quick in the 1970s, right?
Yeah, that made sense. So you're a scientist, you're working on a project, you do a literature search via Index Medicus
Right.
and
Yeah.
your local librarian, and you find a paper that is relevant to your research, and you either incorporate it in your research or you reference it as something that has come before. That's the whole point of citations.
Right.
It's either germane to the information, the new information you're presenting, or it's a callback to what has already been done before as a
Hmm.
shortcut to say that guy already did this and now we're building on top of it. So 2 to 3 years totally made sense because
Hmm.
that's how long it physically took to get new information, include it in a research project, create a paper and get
Right.
it reviewed
Do
and
the research.
get it published. And so I think what we have now is that the product is, and I know that they've got a lot of bells and whistles within their product. So you can
Hmm.
interrogate it and do lots of different things. But
Right.
what we're talking about is the impact factor itself
Hmm.
and its global importance. And the world has moved on from that
Hmm.
in different ways. It's moved on in that people don't really care about the centrality that they were
Hmm.
trying to that they originally captured,
Right.
and that there are all of these other kind of attention metrics and things that have come into play. And I think that I don't know at this point that it's redeemable
Hmm.
to go back and purify the impact factor. I think it's a company squeezing the juice out of a hot commodity as long as they can.
I think you're right. And what's interesting is that they, you look at, we're kind of on the outside watching the publishing world respond to the announcement that it's Impact Factor Day, right?
Hmm.
And you think about how easy it is for Clarivate to market this because they announce the release of the
Boop,
new impact factors, right?
press a
Boop,
button.
and watch everybody like scramble, right? Because the publishers freak out
Yeah.
among themselves, reinforcing the product. I mean, the number of LinkedIn and other posts that I saw where it's like, it's our impact factor. And then it'll spill out over months, right? It's going to, here's our new impact factors. The marketing teams get their artwork together and their social media team gets a plan together to announce their or denounce their new impact factor, whatever they're going to do.
Hmm.
And then the publishers promote, so they promote their impact factors. And so Clarivate gets all this marketing boost to keep their thumb on the market. And
Yeah.
everybody acts like they have to act like they care. But
Well, and so and what has there's also the shadow economy from
mhm,
the main publishers, which are the paper mills and the paper generators and the I can place you in an index journal. They are benefiting from this as well. So
mhm.
they're probably wherever they are in the world and however they're doing what they're doing, they are using this information to continue their fraud,
Oh, they probably market it
basically.
harder than,
Yeah.
I mean, they're the
Yeah.
ones who market DOIs as credentialing
Yeah.
certification numbers. So, yeah, so any number they get, they're happy to promote. Or even we've also seen where they calculate fake impact factors too. like our calculated impact factor based on their, but it's not official, but we made up our own. I've seen that before too.
Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that's the
can.
real shadow
Yeah,
economy.
you can do your own research, and
Roll your own
obviously,
impact factor.
yeah, there are other ways to get citation counts. Obviously, you can, Google Scholar will
Right.
produce them in real time, and so that's the other thing. Back to the lagging indicator, if you look at any paper, there's probably going to be some widget that's going to give you a citation count. You don't
Right.
know where it came from, but Crossref, Google Scholar, Scopus, others,
Yeah.
they all have their own, like, let's count things in real time. So you can, but what is the point of counting things in real time? I don't know.
Well, and those systems have been hacked multiple times by people who learned how to poach the real-time data and manipulate it. So that's the other, so there's
Right.
there's pros and cons to Clarivate's approach, but I think that, overall it's still a vestige of the past.
Well, and again, it's yes,
Relied on a
it's
scientific record that was carefully curated and
very, very
carefully
carefully curated.
populated.
Yes, and this was a product that was built on top of that, and now
Hmm.
it doesn't reflect I don't know, anything useful.
Yep. So we'll be talking about this in the coming months. We've got some other perspectives on this, but we wanted to have a frank conversation. We were talking about it on the phone yesterday, and we're like, dang, we should have recorded that phone call. That was really good. So this is as close as we get. But
Yeah.
it's our effort to make you a little more aware of what's going on in the
Mhm.
trust marker and measurement space. From our point of view, Joy has written a great chapter, well, mostly written it. It's a joint effort, but
Mhm.
about this in our book. And there are lots of things in the book, the two about, Google Scholar and how it's been gamed. That still
Mhm.
makes me laugh. We have a good line in
Yeah.
that one. But anyhow, but let's move on to, are you ready to move on?
No, I just want to say as a put a bow on it,
Mm-hmm.
the metrics have been so important to this industry and they're getting out of control. And I also want to recognize that there are people, we're not the first people saying this by
No,
any stretch of the imagination.
not at
People,
all.
like you said, people have been griping about this for years and it's like there's this need to find a new North Star.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're seeing some organizations come together and we're going to create trust markers. We've seen bad people come together and say, this is our sticker,
Right, right.
And so what our interest in this is not about like who's got the brightest sticker.
Mm-hmm.
It's what is important and what are we counting and who are we counting it for? So,
Yeah. Yeah, let's give it a hard think.
yeah,
Sounds good. All right, so let's move on to discoveries of the week.
let's do it.
All right, so my discovery of the week, I'll lead off, came through a great podcast, Jordan Harbinger
Mhm.
podcast. He interviewed David Epstein, who has written a book about the importance of constraints in problem solving design solutions and everything basically. And it really hit me at the right angle because that's been one of the things that all through my product development and graphic design and writing and all of these things in music is you get creativity through constraints, right? The
Mhm.
constraints are the creativity just inside out, right?
Yeah.
And so he told this great story of the jazz pianist Keith Jarrett in the 1970s, who was invited to play a concert in Cologne, Germany, and by a 19-year-old promoter who was the youngest promoter in Germany at the time. And she convinced him to come play a concert at the opera hall after the opera. So it was like 11:30 at night. And he was on tour, and she gave him airfare. And he took the money and drove with his manager to pocket extra money to
Mhm.
get there. So he gets there late. He had specified the piano that he wanted used for the concert. And the stagehands brought out that brand, but it was a baby grand, not the full grand. And it was what came from a practice room. So it was very beat up and abused.
Mm.
And the piano tuner came in and he's like, no, this is going to be hard to salvage for this level of work. So they tried, it was a rainy, cold night, and they tried to get another piano from somewhere else, but they had to go over cobblestones in the rain. And they're telling the piano guys, like, don't do that. You'll have, you'll wreck a piano, and that'll cost you even more. And so Keith Jarrett went in and he touched the piano and he said, no, not going to do it. So fast, he goes to dinner and he's about ready to leave with his manager to drive off. And the promoter, throws herself on the hood of his car in the rain and begs him to stay. And so he does, but he's got this instrument that has all these constraints, right? It's the upper keys are very tinny sounding, and it's a baby grand, so the bass notes aren't as thumping as he would like and normally have, and it's kind of beat up as far as the key bed and all this stuff. But he agrees, and because they had the recording equipment set up, and he's like, well, okay, we'll record it and whatever. And so I love that story, and I'd never heard this before, and so I bought it because it's the best. Turns out it's the best-selling jazz piano piece ever.
Ever
And
recorded.
they recorded it, yeah,
Yeah.
ever recorded, and it's amazing. It is so amazing. I listened to it straight through, and I was getting goosebumps left and right. And you can hear it. There's Helene Grimaud is a classical pianist I love because you can hear her grunting sometimes when she's playing because the microphones are so there, and she's working so hard and she's so into it. And in this Keith Jarrett thing, you can hear him like he's pounding his foot at one point, and you can hear him going, yeah, really
He's like
into it.
almost like fighting the instrument to make
It's
it do what he wants.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he gets thrilled when he gooses something great out of it, and he's doing these very simple left hand progressions, but he does it's just an amazing performance. So that was my discovery of the week: constraints driving creativity, and this classic, this timeless jazz concert coming out as something that had no business happening, but
Yeah.
something brilliant happened because the constraints were, and the genius at the center of them all
And well,
conspired to make a great thing.
and the persistence of the girl
Yes,
who was like, don't make me look bad in my hometown,
that's
Mr.
right.
Fancy Jazz Man. Get your
Yeah.
ass over here and play this broken
Broken
piano.
ass piano. But the other thing that's so nice about it is that, it's a German crowd in the 1970s, so they're pretty staid, right?
Yeah.
But so you're not getting a lot of shouting and whistling and things like that after each piece. But you are getting sustained applause for minutes. Brought tears to my eyes. It's a beautiful thing. So that was my discovery of the week. But you have
Awesome.
one too.
Well, my discovery of the week is also musical. Fast forward to today. And so you and I have been, I think you introduced me to Angine de Poitrine,
Yes.
the
The microtonal
the microtonal duo who wear polka dot
noses.
and masks. They're like the Banksies of YouTube music, I guess. It's like nobody knows who they are. They do this crazy stuff, and I think I was first introduced to them. It's like the way they play could not be reproduced by AI because
Right.
it's microtonal and very physical
Yeah. Yeah.
and unpredictable. But it sounds good. And so they've like captured the attention of the planet of music nerds. And so, but nobody knows who they are. And we know that they're from Montreal and they only speak French and things like that. So the other day, my YouTube algorithm served up this most delightful little clip from a Spanish speaking guy. I don't know where he lives, but anyway, it was dubbed. But he was like, we solved the case. My girlfriend and I are totally like entranced with this band, and
Right.
we've been studying everything they've done. And we've been studying anybody who looks anything like them.
Right.
And so they patched it together and we're like, that guy is that guy with the mask on, and that one is a mask on. And these are all the clues, and this is the scientifically proven,
Yeah.
reveal of who these
Look at his
people are.
feet.
Yeah, he's like nobody else is going to use their feet that way. So that was wonderful. I hope it doesn't undo the mystique
The
of
mystique.
angine de poitrine, but I love that these young people were thinking about it and caring about it and looking at the details and listening and and doing that kind of research because they love it
Yeah.
and they just want to know.
It's a
So
mystery. And we would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you pesky kids, with you
well,
meddling kids. How do
they
you say
should
that
get
in French?
yeah. Well, they should get a private concert, you
They
know?
should.
They
They
should.
should.
They should get because they are clearly the biggest fans.
The
So
thing is, the people that they identified, I've heard of
mhm.
that group.
The lizard gizzard
Lizard
or
gizzard people, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I've heard of them and it's like, oh, okay. All right. So it's brilliant, and your favorite part of it was also just delightful, which is when their nose is basically pressed up to the
They're
screen,
just
looking at
like,
every little detail. Like
I got it. I
he's
got
got
it.
12 hairs on his leg. He's got 12 hairs on his leg, right by his ankle bone. We've got him.
It's amazing. They're like, we're not leaving until we figure this out. All right. Well, that does it for this week. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks to our friends at Provoke the Truth for the music. If you have topics you want us to cover, we're always receptive to things that you think we can we can dive into and bring to your earwaves. Please email us at disruptedscience@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. You can also keep up with developments at the Geyser, where you can subscribe to support our efforts if you don't already. Thanks so
And
much.
thanks. Yeah. And listen for us we'll keep you notified. We'll be on some podcasts soon, we hope.
Yeah, you
So
can listen to us on
babble
other
there.
podcasts. Might
I
have to
know.
practice for that.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, bye.